Class 11th, subject physics, 9th chapter, optics. From this chapter, let us see the reflection from a plane surface. So if you consider a plane mirror, then how the reflection from that plane mirror will take place, that we will have to study in this point. So in all three cases, we will explain regarding this reflection from a plane surface. First one is, if the object is in front of a plane reflecting surface, the image is virtual and laterally inverted. If the object is in front of the plane reflecting surface like a plane mirror, then the image is virtual and laterally inverted. Laterally inverted means if you observe our image in the plane mirror, then our right side will be observed as left side and left side will be observed as right side in that image formed by the mirror. So this is laterally inverted image. Now it is of the same size. That image will be of the same size as that of the size of the object, and it will be on other side of the reflecting surface. Second point, if we are standing on the bank of still water pond and look for our image formed by the water, then again the image is laterally reverse. It will be of the again same size and on the other side. Third case, if an object is placed between two plane mirrors inclined at an angle theta, instead of a single mirror, if suppose there are two plane mirrors and which are inclined by angle theta, then the number of images small n are formed due to multiple reflections from both the mirrors. Exact number of images will depend upon the angle between the two mirrors and where exactly the object is placed between the mirrors. The formula for the number of images formed between the two mirrors inclined by angle theta is given as, the formula will be n is equal to 360 upon theta. This n will represent number of images formed between the two mirrors, and therefore n is equal to 360 upon theta will give us the number of images formed. Now for that purpose, let capital N represents, this capital N represents the number of images seen. If capital N represents the number of images seen due to the reflection by the two parallel mirrors, then again we will discuss four different cases. So if small n is an odd integer, then the number of images seen capital N will be equal to small n minus 1, that is n equal to n minus 1, and the object is exactly on the angle bisector. So for example, if angle theta is equal to 120 degree, then small n will be equal to 360 upon 120, that will be equal to 3. So this 3 will represent the number of images formed, and now the number of images seen n will be equal to 3 minus 1, that is equal to 2 on the angle bisector. So the position of the object will be on the angle bisector. Let us consider now the second case. If n is an odd integer and the object is of angle bisector. If n is an odd integer again, but the object is of angle bisector, at that time the number of images formed will be equal to capital N equal to small n, and therefore let us consider the example. If theta is equal to 72 degree n will be equal to 360 upon 72, that will be equal to 5, and therefore the number of images seen will be equal to number of images formed, that is n is equal to 5, but in this case the object will be of the angle bisector. Then third case, if n is an even integer, if n is an even integer, then the number of images seen, capital N, will be equal to small n minus 1, irrespective of where the object is. So it will not depend on the position of the object. For example, if theta is equal to 90 degree, then n will be equal to 360 upon 90, that will be equal to 4. So in this case, number of images formed equal to 4, and the number of images seen will be equal to 4 minus 1, that is equal to 3. The object position will be anywhere again. Now let us consider fourth case. If small n is not an integer, then n will be equal to m, where m is the integral part of that images form. M will represents the integral part, and therefore, as an example, if you consider, if theta is equal to 50 degree, n will be equal to 360 upon 50, that will come out 7.2. So integral part is 7, and therefore n is equal to m, that is n is equal to 7. So number of images seen will be equal to 7. Again, the position of the object will be anywhere between the two parallel mirrors or between two inclined mirrors. And now let us go for next point, that is reflection from curved mirrors. Instead of plane surfaces, if you consider the curved mirrors, then how that reflection will take place. Now there are two types of curved mirrors, that is convex mirror and concave mirror, which are the part of the sphere. So the radius of the sphere, which a mirror is a part, is called radius of curvature r of that mirror. So if you consider, for example, this mirror, so it is the small part of a sphere. So if you form a whole sphere like this, including this mirror, then the radius of this sphere will be the radius of curvature for that mirror. So if you consider radius of curvature, it will be denoted by capital R. Only for the spherical mirrors, half the radius of curvature is focal length of the mirror. So if you consider the radius of curvature, and if we consider r by 2, that is half of the radius of curvature, then it will represent the focal length for that curved mirror. Now if you consider this focal length, then for concave mirror, if you consider concave mirror, it is the distance at which parallel incident rays converge. So for a concave mirror, if you consider like this any concave mirror, then these rays of light after reflecting are meeting here at point F. So this will represent the focus of that mirror, and this distance will be the focal length of that mirror. Similarly, for a convex mirror, it is the distance from where parallel rays appear to be diverging after reflection. So if you consider now the convex mirror, then these rays are reflecting. Now if you extend these in the backward direction, all these reflected rays will meet at a point F. This will be the principal focus of this mirror, and this distance PF will be the focal length for that convex mirror. Now the focal length of the convex mirror, if you consider the focal length of the convex mirror, then that focal length of the convex mirror is considered as positive because this radius of curvature will be positive, and therefore for convex mirror the focal length will be considered as positive. On the other side, for a concave mirror, this will be the radius of curvature Cp, and this will be the focal length Fp. Now this is taken as negative. So by using the sign conventions, as this focal length is towards left of the pole, therefore it is considered as a negative. And in this case, for convex mirror, as F is on the right side of this pole of the mirror, therefore it is taken as positive. So for convex mirror, focal length is positive as radius of curvature is positive, and for concave mirror the focal length is negative as the radius of curvature is negative. So if you consider the formation of these images in both these cases, then in this case these are the parallel rays of light which form a parallel beam of light which is normally incident on this convex mirror. At that time, the ray of light which is incident on the pole, it will be reverse, it will get reflected along the same line, and other rays are diverging from each other after reflection, and therefore the image will be formed here at this F, that is the focus of that mirror will be taken as F, that is these rays are considered to be meeting at point F, and therefore this point will be the principal focus, and this PC distance is R, PC distance is equal to R, and PF will be equal to focal length. Similarly, in case of concave mirror, these will represent the parallel rays which are incident on this mirror. The ray of light which is incident on the pole will get reversed along the same line, and all other rays after reflection will converge at a point F, giving rise to principal focus of that mirror, that is F. Then Fp, it will be the focal length, and again PC will be equal to radius of curvature of that mirror. So this will be regarding the reflection from the curved mirrors. Now let us consider the next point, that is relation between object distance u, image distance v, and the focal length f. So object distance, image distance, and focal length will be related by relation. For a point object, the focal length of a small spherical, either concave or convex mirror, is related to object distance and the image distance by the formula 1 by f equal to 1 by v plus 1 by u. This will be the focal length, this is the image distance, this is the object distance. So that will be the relation. Now what is focal power of any lens? Focal power denoted by P. So focal power is nothing but the ability of a lens or a mirror to converge or diverge the rays of light. That is called as focal power. It is the ability of a lens or mirror to converge or diverge the rays of light. It is measured as P equal to 1 by f. P is equal to 1 by f, that is the reciprocal of the focal length. Its SI unit is diopter. Its SI unit is diopter denoted by capital D, and 1 diopter equal to 1 meter inverse. That is 1 by meter will be equal to 1 diopter. So this will be regarding focal power of the lens or mirror. Then let us consider the next point, that is what is lateral magnification. Lateral magnification. So the ratio of the linear size of the image to the linear size of the object measured perpendicular to the principal axis is called as lateral magnification. The ratio of linear size of the image to the linear size of the object measured perpendicular to the principal axis is called as lateral magnification, denoted by small m, and then that lateral magnification m will be given in terms of image distance and the object distance here instead of its size, that is phi by u. So m is equal to, that is lateral magnification, m is equal to phi by u. And now let us go for next point, that is what is spherical aberration, that is the defect or spherical aberration. What is it? So when the rays are further, that is far away from the principal axis, then the focus gradually shifts towards the pole. So if you consider like this, for a mirror, this is the principal axis, and if these rays of light are far away from the principal axis, at that time the focus gradually shifts towards the pole. Then this focus will shift towards this pole if these rays of light are far away from the principal axis. Thus the defect arises due to the spherical shape of the reflecting surface. This defect will arise due to the spherical shape of the reflecting surface, and hence it is called as spherical aberration. It produces then blurred image with unclear boundaries. The boundaries of the image will be unclear and the image will be blurred image. Now this defect is now eliminated by using the parabolic mirrors. This defect, that is spherical aberration, will be eliminated by using parabolic mirrors. So in case of torch as well as headlights of the vehicles, searchlights, the glasses or the mirrors used are parabolic in shape in order to eliminate this type of spherical aberration. So by using parabolic mirrors we can eliminate the spherical aberration defect.